Hi, Blastpop here. Today I'm looking at Storm over Normandy, which was included in the summer 2015 issue number 6 of Special Ops magazine, published by MMP. Storm over Normandy uses the area movement system introduced in Storm over Arnhem and Storm over Dien Bien Phu. The game focuses on the landings of the 5 beaches, which are Sword, Juno, Gold, Omaha, and Utah, plus the Allied paratrooper operations, and of course the German response over the first week of the battle. The entire game, they claim, can be played in less than 3 hours, presumably with some kind of experience with the game system. The game features the use of cards. It's not a card-driven game, but it's a card complemented or maybe an augmented game, allowing Chrome to be added without having to have a plethora of special rules. Anyway, the scale is 1 day per turn. Units are battalion to brigade, and in reference to that, the battalions are half-inch smaller counters, and the brigades or regiments are 5/8 in size, so they're a little bit bigger and easier to pick out and differentiate. It comes with 12 pages of rules, the 22 by 34 map you see in front of you, and what you need is some dice, 4 or more, and then of different colors. And the game was designed by Ken Dunn and Nick Richardson. Okay, so it comes in a magazine, as I mentioned, and it's has articles on the Mighty Endeavor Expanded Edition, Hungarian Rhapsody, an upcoming game from the OCS game series, some ASL scenarios, both starter kits and the regular ASL, full ASL, 2 of each. You got your rules, playing the campaign Devil's Cauldron, and an article about the play of this game. As I said, the rules are 12 pages, and starts off right here. The larger regiments and battalions, you have your firepower, your defense, your movement, your reinforcement turn and setup area, your various types of units, or unit types actually. Map section here, explaining that these are the landing blocks, such as Omaha is up here, and what the card backs look like. Special rules for the first turn, your setup. Card actions, you have special sequence of play on turn 1, and you have a sequence of play for turns 2 through 8. This is an impulse game. One side starts off, typically the Allied, followed by the German, although the German, under certain circumstances with certain card play, can go first in a turn. And it goes back and forth until players pass. This is a derivative system that was first introduced years ago in Storm over Arnhem by Avalon Hill. There are some similarities and there's some differences, and it's been expanded upon. After a unit completes its action, it's flipped over to its reverse side. Essentially what you do is you line up the attackers, you take the number of points that they have as the attacker, and then I believe it's you add 1 for every additional unit beyond the first. You roll a attack dice. The defender essentially rolls defensive dice using his defensive value, plus any terrain modifiers and other modifiers for both sides to see if any losses are inflicted. And you have assault, retreats, nicely illustrated, full color. Special rules, victory points, invasion example of play. So there should be no difficulty in learning this game. It looks fairly simple. This is yet another game that would seem to have been ideally suited for boxed publication, and I'm not sure why it wasn't, because it has a full map, it has a sheet of counters, it has 54 cards, which is a deck of cards. Each player gets half of those. This is what the back of the Allied deck looks like, and you can see here the back of the German deck. Illustrations, photo-colorized illustrations, and you play them at the appropriate point. And again, it introduces the element of special rules and Chrome without the rules overhead in so doing. You have to punch these out. Reminds me of the die-cut cards that SPI used to publish years and years ago. And for games of cheaper publication, such as this has to suffice. Although today you can certainly use card protectors to add some strength, stability, and so that they don't bend or rip. And a couple of blank cards. Seems like a lost opportunity. They might have been able to put the sequence of play on there or something. Or some handy reminder for one for each player. Oh well. Sheet of counters. White core. Not overly thin. Die cutting a little problematic in this, that they're not really popping out. Although with powerful shears and then maybe clipping the counters, it shouldn't prove to be an issue. Also are some errata counters for other games as well. Control markers. These are the bigger units that I alluded to. And then the smaller battalion-sized units. But most of the battalions are German, and most of the larger counters are, and regiments and brigades are the Allies. Your back or spent side. Looking at the map, starts off with German control. You can use the control markers to indicate that that status has changed. The area number is the terrain effects is the +2 and varies from terrain. Each player gets a certain number of cards, and by capturing and holding these without any opponent's forces in them, that side gets 2 additional cards. Germans start off with 2 cards per turn on turn 1, and every turn thereafter have 5. And the Allies start off with, I believe, 1 or 2. And for every beachhead that they have completed, they pick up an additional card, maxing out at 7 cards. You have a sequence of play here. You have a victory point chart over there. Tells you here what happens when units are damaged. The operational dividing line, which is the area where the Americans versus the rest of the Allies operate in the game. So it essentially runs for essentially 1 week, and so it's a quick, definitely quick play. Not a lot of areas. Simplicity is there, and this game has received great reviews and might continue to have been more popularly well received if it was boxed. It seems that more recently this game has kind of gotten forgotten, superseded by the Avalon Hill game on the same subject, whose name escapes me right now, and other area movement and combat offerings. This has been Storm over Normandy. This is Blastpop. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you also click on the little bell near where you subscribe and like, you will also get notifications of all my upcoming videos as they're published. This is Blastpop. Bye.